Something possessed me to take down the ceiling liner in the heads. Got this horrible kind of original plasticky sort of material covering the ceilings inside the cabin up to the heads. But the head ceiling was quite bad. It was flaking and starting to rip in areas. Anyway, I ripped it all down, and there was some insulation matting behind it, and I've ripped that down as well, and I've been left with what was the what is the original surface, the fiberglass surface under the boat, which this stuff was stuck to. The issue I have now is I am just trying to remove as best I can the adhesive before putting some new foam on. And I'll just show you what I'm using. Tried a few things, adhesive remover, sort of pastes and stuff like that, but they haven't really been that great against sort of removing this stuff. It's just this tacky kind of, these tacky spots where the adhesive still lies. So yeah, it's not an easy task, but I have attached this little wire brush onto my battery drill. I think that is an 80mm head, and just going around and removing it, keeping the drill reasonably slow, and it's coming off a treat, so I am just in the process of doing that now. It's taking a little bit of time, but it's not the biggest space. All I can say is though, it's really, really dirty. So if I was doing this in the main cabin, it would be an absolute mess, and I'd have to clear out most of the cabin in order to do that. That's a job I'm not going to be doing this haul out, I don't think. This is more of a test piece for what is potentially going to have to come in future, involving ripping down all the ceiling and stuff like that. As part of this job, when I put the new foam in, I'm going to be running some additional cable from the feed just behind me. There's a feed point, and then up, and then sort of to the centre of the ceiling, and then down towards the where the sink is, so I can fit a proper little light. At the minute I've just been using battery lights, which has worked okay, but I'd prefer something a little bit more solid state. So I'll run some tin cable in, and then that will be permanently installed with a new light fitting after I've fit the liner and the foam. Do this one-handed just to show you effectiveness, but it might not work. Let me just try the other way. There we go. You kind of get the gist of it. So we are at this stage now. I'm sort of halfway between putting the insulation on. It's just this sticky back stuff. There's a couple of mil, I think it's about 5mm, and you've got the insulation on that side and the sticky stuff on this side. So you just peel back this film and then whack it up. I've had to make sure that this is absolutely bone dry and ready to take the adhesion of the insulation. I've put the tinned cable just in situ, run it down and then into the tie-in point. So that will be somewhere here, will be the light fitting. I think that will probably come out up to sort of here, but I've just put this back just to so it's behind the insulation while I'm running it. But yeah, getting this tacky glue off was a bit of a pain, but it's mostly there now. I've just had to do a lot of tidying up in here because it was a complete and utter mess. But we are just putting this stuff on strip by strip. This bit here is just going to go round and into position. Let me just try and get this in. Just around the mast post. There's a little bit of a gap there, but it really can't be helped, to be honest. I'm trying to get as close a fit as possible to the actual lines on there. But yeah, it's going quite well, I think. This is one of the templates for the centre section of the ceiling for the heads. As you can see, I've sort of cut it out to the sort of shape that I thought, and then I've just been fine-tuning it with added bits and then cutting out the sort of around the mast section, and some of these were actually very heavily modified, some of the side panels, with little bits of masking tape and added extra bits just to complete the shape. And then it's best to work as much on this as possible, because once you've used your
3mm plywood, there's no going back obviously if you cut it wrong or too short. So yeah, definitely worth spending a bit of time doing or marking up these templates first before you put that shape onto the plywood.
Okay, so I've just finished fitting the first 2 panels of the headlining. It's not gone too badly. There's a couple of things which I've probably done which shouldn't have happened, but anyway, I'll tell you a little story about this. So I conjured up the panels and then you know, cut them out to 3 because yeah, doing this all in one piece is a little challenging, so I've sectioned it up. And what I'm going to do is, this one I've run out of 3mm ply to fit that, so I'm going to have to do that at home. But the rest of it's actually not done too bad. I should have, a couple of lessons learned, should have had some shallower staples when I staple in the upholstery on the inside. They have just come through just slightly there, just some marks, but nothing overboard for the first go. So long as they're not protruding, I don't really care. The other thing, I use PVA to stick the canvas on, and that needs some time with pressure on it to really absorb into the onto the panel. But I haven't done that, and it has just on the edges sort of started coming away a bit. Hopefully that will just sort of adhere over time. And there's obviously it's foam back, so it will absorb but quite a bit anyway, but just where the pressure points are on the corners and on the edges, it's just sort of started to lift slightly, so I'm just been rubbing them back. The cable for the new light fitting, I've just put that off to one side because I didn't want it right in the middle where it's going to knock me on the head, and that's also accessible from the fore cabin if I want to, if someone's in there and they just want to turn it off. This stuff is excellent. It's really, really good. I'll leave a link in the descriptions box below. But yeah, it's honestly, I'm sitting in here right now and it is pretty warm. And when you've got these wood panels in as well, it's really gonna keep the heat inside the boat instead of it just pouring out the top. I've seen people use Velcro on these panels, but honestly, with the shape of this, I don't think it would adhere very well at all, and probably just pop off at some point. So there's decent enough thickness in the ceiling of the boat, of the top deck, to put these screws in, and they're absolutely fine. So anyway, I'm gonna get on to painting some in the cockpit, and that is pretty much, I've just got to do that one last panel and then I'm done. Right, so that is the last panel just being offered into position. That fits quite well as it is, and the hole aligns, which is good. And I just put a screw in each of the 4 corners, and then it's just a case of getting the ventilation port back in to position. I'll just screw that back in to the hole. I've only got 10 days left until Stowaway goes back into the water again, and I've got one of the jobs that I least like about owning a boat, which is the anti-fouling. I don't take much time at all to do this. I don't spend hours sanding and all that business, because ultimately once the boat is in the water you can't see it anyway. Her hull, as some people have already mentioned, is not in the best shape. She's got a lot of undulations, and to be fair, she could do with a full blast off and reapplication of a sort of a barrier coat epoxy paint before an anti-foul, but I'm not going to be doing that this year. There's still quite a lot of boats in the yard, and the yard have sort of said that, you know, any blasting is sort of better done without too many boats in the yard. Obviously everyone's stuff gets just covered in it, so the intention is to come out sort of slightly earlier in the year to have the whole bottom blasted off, so it's nice and smooth and ready for any repairs and an application of an epoxy barrier primer. But we're not doing that today. That sort of job is going to take me a long time, and the whole scope of today is just to get a good key on the existing antifoul surface and reapply the new antifoul.
So what have I got in my kit? Got some coveralls in there, masking tape, couple of trays, and yeah, the mask obviously. I just need some bin bags for putting all the crap in, and some sponge, bucket, and Chris has got the hose as well, so we'll hose up and use that to wash down the hole when we've sanded off. Okay, so I'm all gowned up, and Chris has started just sanding down the surface, just trying to get a decent key on the old stuff for the new anti-foul. That going okay with the is that 120 grit? I think it is, isn't it? Or 180? Oh no, 180. Yeah, that's not too bad. We're not like too abrasive, but just enough to kind of get a decent key. We're going to take all of this anti-foul off because obviously it's you know, you're making use of some anti-foul from the year before. Oh, that's good. No barnacles, no, nothing of that nature. Good stuff.
You got your side?
Yeah, pretty much. So we have now wet sanded the hull on both sides. It's taken about, between two of us, it's taken about, I'd say, an hour and a half. Just a little bit there to do, and then just wash it off with the hose. I think that should have us ready. There are obviously some areas of this hull which are in pretty poor condition. You've got flaking starting sort of around this C cock here, this through hull, and obviously there's a few little bits on the rudder, and then we've got just here is where I lost the anchor overboard coming back from Belgium. It has taken up, this is where the anchor would have been hanging, I guess, and a bit there as well. But yeah, I mean, ideally that needs a little bit of primer first beforehand, because it has actually gone through the gel shield to the gel coat. But for the sake of 5 months in the water before she comes out and has a complete blast off, I'm not going to bother with that. I know a lot of you are going to say you need to do it, but unless I'm going long distance cruising, there's absolutely no point whatsoever. And I haven't got any primer here, so I'm just going to get on with it. And but yeah, you can see around the prop shaft, this has started to come away quite a lot. So this is something that the sandblasting, when she comes out, is going to completely get away, and I can start from scratch again. Let's just see around some of the rudder edges. How much gunk is in there?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Is that your speed sensor?
Yeah. Look at it. It just goes around, but it gets. You can retract it from inside.
Oh yeah.
And clean it out. But as you can see, look, it's just. You can't, because you can't put any anti-foul on because they just gum up.
Yeah.
But.
You've been going too fast.
I'm just too fast, mate.
Too fast, mate.
Just rip off the anti-foul. Never fucking work these. There we go. That'll do for now. I did put a load of GT85 on it just to loosen it up, but that'll be gummed up again in 2 weeks when she's going. So we're going to let that dry out completely, go have a pint, and then come back in about sort of an hour and start putting on some of the first coat, I think. Hopefully with this weather it should dry off quite nicely. We shall see. Get close in on the paint. Right, here we go then. The lovely Antifouling. So Chris is gonna mix this up while I mask off and get it all well firmed up. As you can see, there's just the lighter stuff on the top, and then right at the bottom is all the biocide, so that needs to be properly mixed up before we can start mixing any thinner into it, and obviously laying it onto the hull. Kind of important that you don't keep taking millimetres of the water line every time you antifoul, because the next season you'll work up again and again, and eventually it'll be an inch higher and you'll wonder what's going on. After the masking off has been done, we start applying some of this antifouling with a little bit of thinners number 3 from International, just to make it a bit easier to roll on. Wasn't going to do a full time lapse on this because it is just like watching paint dry. So you get the gist of it, and using a paintbrush around sort of like the rudder areas, make sure you get a good coverage on before removing the masking tape. One thing that you'll probably notice that we haven't been wearing is vapour masks. It's been quite a cool day while we were putting this stuff on, so yeah, we didn't get the flashing off of the vapours like I kind of expected to, and there was a decent wind around the hull as well, which really helps. But if you're doing this inside an enclosure, yeah, definitely get some vapour masks to help with the breathing, and take regular breaks is the main thing. It's not nice stuff, this, and just taking a step back and seeing what you're doing probably helps with the job as well. And also, if you're doing this, find someone to give you a hand with it, because it reduces your exposure time. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.
Done.